wanna dinner, I'm the same man did it. Let's go. I can kick it with a lame ass nigga. Let's go. You ain't with me, you the same as the nigga thinking about my chain bag.
Ayy, it's about time I start breaking them off. Lots of thotties who begging to fuck me, but I ain't got time to start breaking them off. Let's go. Only bought it cause it was a ticket. I can't even spell the design I bought. Put a dick in the Glock and knock out your mouth. Pussy boy better watch how you talk. I'ma show him, he said I ain't with it. Hit my gun out the window, can't go like no bitch if he sending some shots on my shoe bag.
Yo, what is going on, my wonderful people? It's your boy Real Gamers with another video. Now please just bear with me as I explain nature. A lot of things have changed as far as supercharges, so on and so forth, and a lot of people want to see how single target is, and a lot of people want to see how wolf form is. A lot of people just want to see what they can do with this power, or what I do with this power. So I try to explain it to my best abilities, and if this video helps you out, then hey, feel free to join the channel, hit that like button, subscribe. Okay, so speaking about the first loadout, which we're gonna jump straight into single target. Now please bear with me because I want to explain some things with single target, and a lot of you guys might want to know how nature single target does, especially with gorilla form, or especially if you don't have acrobatics to maximize your damage. So as far as the loadout, what I'm currently using is Serpent Call, Vine Lash, Barrier, gorilla form of course, robot sidekick, which I'm going to take this out for right now, and ferocious plants. Now for example, if you don't want to use robot sidekick because let's just say keeps on breaking on you, let's go, where is it, swarm, and let that be your damage over time for you going into your gorilla form. Or you can just go with the robot, or even swarm shield, because immunity wouldn't hurt, especially for you not getting one-shotted. Okay, so I'm using amplified heat vision, impaling thorns, harvest, return to normal, lasso just because I'm not acrobatics, and robot sidekick. And like I was saying earlier, if you don't want to use robot sidekick, then inside of your gorilla form, what you could do is, oh, right here. All right, anyways, Carnage is just a weapon buff where you can clip these two together so your weapon taps can do a bit more damage. As far as my weapon, I am going one-handed just so I can weapon tap. Super speeds my movement. And what I did do was use tornado pull. So something you could also do inside of your gorilla form is, instead of lasso, if you are super speed, you can use tornado pull at a fair range, just because you can back up all the way right here and use it. As for maybe cyclone push, that's more of a mid-range move where you can get right here and use it, but still it depends on how you feel. Iconic tree, I just have heat vision. Neo venom, I was just trying some things out. Stat points, I'm going might and power, or I'm going super powered, max these two out, put the rest into your might and power. And since you are nature, I'll prefer you guys to weapon tap, so put the rest into your precision. Okay, so as for my artifacts, what I'm currently using is heat vision, which you don't need heat vision. Honestly, there are a lot of things you can do in nature, just try to bear with me. Transformation card and strategist card. Now strategist card works really well with impaling thorns, just because it hits everything and you're gonna be taking damage over time. Keep that in mind. What you could also do is run the amulet, because impaling thorns is gonna be that 35er which resets you, so you can continue to gain more stacks. Or what you could possibly do is just run the scrap of the soul cloak, just because say if you have an EOG spam, or if you don't have an EOG spammer and supercharge is hard to obtain, then the scrap is going to make up for that lack of supercharge that you're receiving. So the scrap isn't that bad of a choice. Or what I would personally do is you can run the strategist card, transformation card, and if you have the Lamort card, I would recommend the Lamort card, just because the Lamort card is going to rip, especially with impaling thorns. Now as for my gear mods, the gear mods aren't anything too special. I mean, it's just I need to pay my rent. I got caught lacking. What? After rotating back to my base to pay my rent, I'm using a replenishing adapter, or what you could do is run blast adapter for your weapon taps to do more damage. I'm running nature primary wolf form. It doesn't really matter what your headpiece is. And these are the rest of my mods, nothing really too special. Keep in mind, for using extended supercharge, if you do run this this chest piece, keep in mind that your scrap of the soul cloak will not work. It's not going to stack with the extended supercharge mod, so you might want to run something different. I'm using serpent call for my legs, tumbling master so I can get out of harm's way, so I won't get one-shotted. I basically had improved stealth for my other mods, but what I would run is, if I have it, let's just see, max damage. Let me just put that in, and that is about it. So I'm gonna start the loadout like so. Weapon tap in between every hit. The crits look nice. Crits looks beautiful. Alright, so 54, and this next parser should be around a 70 or 80. That's just how nature is, because it's always the first parser that hits the hardest. So 75. And then now what I will be doing is possibly averaging 50s and 60s. That's just the way nature is nowadays. You're not going to be averaging 70s like you used to anymore. So 60k parser, nothing too strong. And like I said, if you had Lamort card, or if you had the Lamort card, then your nature parsers will be hitting a lot harder, just because of how hard Impelling Thorns hits for. So not that bad actually. Nature, just even with the nerf that nature caught, Gorilla Form is still putting in work until you hit those 54 parsers, like right there for example. But don't even worry, because nature specializes off of 2 bosses instead of 1. So it just depends on how you see it. So 67k parser, 65k parser. So really good damage. And what you could also do, like I said earlier, is I'm going to take out the robot sidekick, and I'm going to put on Swarm Shield just to show you a little example of what you could do. Say if you're not a big fan of robot sidekick, and what you, where is it, you can run Carnage. Use this loadout is get your procs going. Clip those 2. Make sure you always weapon tap so your Carnage can do work. So 41k parser, 70k parser. Clip those 2 for Carnage. Slowed down right there, but we're not going to talk about that. 48, yeah, that's when I slowed down. Really good crits, really good crits that are popping off. 57, so it went back up. I didn't really mean to slow down on that 48, but not gonna talk about that. Clip those 2. 59. So like I said, you're just gonna be averaging some 50s and some 60s with nature. Nothing too bad actually with nature, but keep in mind, like I said earlier, nature specializes off of groups of bosses basically. So like PCE. And don't get me wrong, it will destroy on a single target boss, but nature really specializes on groups. That's just when Impelling Thorns does its main thing. So that's basically what the parts is for nature. Moving along to the AoE loadout with nature. Now, my artifacts currently, or actually I won't even speak about the artifacts. I'll go into the loadout first. Serpent Call, Vine Lash, Barrier, Gorilla Form of course, Harvest, and Ferocious Plants. Now inside of my actual Gorilla Form, what I am using is Heat Vision, Impelling Thorns, Ferocious Plants, Harvest, Return to Normal, and Serpent Call. My weapon is one-handed. Super speeds my movement. This is my stat tree, or not my stat tree, this is my iconic tree. And then max these 2, put the rest into your might and power, and then like I said, go prec. So what I will do is get a bit close just so I won't pull these ads. And then let Impelling Thorns do all the work. It's a little iffy because I have that ad moving right now. I'm just trying to back up. There we go. So started off with a 75. 134. Like I said, if you have the Lamort card, then you can do a bit better. So really good so far. Really good parsers. And the Gorilla Form or the Gorilla buff is long gone right now. So this is just my raw damage with Gorilla Form. I'm averaging 100Ks basically, maybe 134, 120, but still, even with the Gorilla buff gone, it's still really high damage. Nature is a killer when it comes to ads, just because of Impelling Thorns. I'm gonna get him below a bit further. I'll do one more parser. So 109, and this is the final one. This first ad right here is at that 35 point. And 119. So really good damage. Okay, so now talking about wolf form. Wolf form is a bit iffy just because, as you guys know, with the changes from the last nature update, nature wolf form was put from a 15-second cooldown to a 30-second cooldown, on top of it now being a 5,000 supercharge. So that's going to make it a bit harder for you to supercharge spam with this power. So the damage is still going to be hitting up there, but you might have to stay in your wolf form a little bit longer. But at the same time, the loadout is Serpent Claw, Vine Lash, and Barrier. Obviously you have wolf, and then harvest and ferocious plants. And now inside of your wolf form, you have savage growth. Where is my indicator? All right, thorn burst. This move right here, since it's blink, you can go sonic cry if you don't have super speed. Now if you do have super speed to maximize your damage, I will recommend whirling dervish. It's just up to you, especially if you are holding the full animation of whirling dervish. You can kind of stall the timeout while you're in your wolf form, if that makes sense. Return to normal, speed drain. I have speed drain over anything else just because you will be supercharged spamming in your form. So despite your wolf form crits and buffs and everything going away, you can still gain supercharge, a lot of supercharge, while in your wolf, and you can possibly spam speed drain. And you have Serpent Call just so you can get your supercharge back while you're in the form. Now for the artifacts, what you can do is I am running strategist card, transformation card, and I am running scrap of the soul cloak. Now if you want to do something a bit different, then I will recommend you to take off the scrap and maybe put on a Gemini. That's just up to you if you still want to take it into like a DPS comp type of feel. But let's just say if you don't want to run Gemini, then it's perfectly fine to just run strategist card. And I really don't see the amulet being needed. It's just overkill, especially with you not really spamming wolf like that anymore. So it's not really needed for you to just continuously go in and out while almost killing yourself. If you want to, then feel free to. Okay, so as for the damage that you can put out, like so, just gonna do what you would normally do. Kind of slow it down right there. And just spam these three. Nothing too special. You're still gonna have strong burst damage, started off at 84. I'm trying not to spread these ads out too much so I can just get an accurate read. 150. And then you're gonna notice the biggest difference when the form actually loses its buffs. So it went from 150 to 100. And what you can do, pop speed drain if you want. You don't even need Gemini, but just pop speed drain if you want. Alright, now wolf form should be back off a cooldown. Go back into your form. Obviously the parser is going to drop because you were just resetting the form. But I mean, nothing too major. Like I said, if you want to stay in your wolf form, then just continue to spam speed drain.